Now, before we get to the steps of a materiality assessment, I think it's important to cover the overall ESG reporting and compliance process. If you remember, materiality assessment is just part of that process. And also, as a starting point, we're going to assume that you've already confirmed the why you're doing why you're doing ESG reporting. And I think that was we saw that in the poll that not everybody has done that yet. The reason it's so important, though, is you can't do materiality assessment effectively without serious commitment from your senior leadership. You can imagine you're going to be connecting potentially with external stakeholders and lots of different important stakeholder groups. So it's going to be really important that you have a clear mandate and a clear sense of purpose that you're going to communicate upfront and often as you engage people in the process. Now, once you've confirmed your why, you would likely do a review of regulations in the jurisdictions that your company operates in to see if there's specific requirements that you need to meet with your reporting. Now, if you're not subject to regulations yet, you could still review the standards to help you identify the ESG topics you should consider. This will also end up lending credibility to your program if you're following a recognized standard. Now, from this, you would create a master list of the potential ESG topics that you're going to consider in your company. Now, I should also point out, you're going to see some screenshots of our software throughout this section. We're not going to be talking about our product. We're just using some screenshots because it was the fastest and easiest way for us to put this together. And you certainly don't need software to do what we're going to show you. You can do it manually with some more effort. Now, once you've built your master list or universe of ESG topics, you'd get to the materiality assessment stage. This is what we're going to cover in more detail shortly. This part here kind of highlighted in green. Through this process, you'd identify the ESG topic areas that are material and that need to be included in your reporting, as well as the ones that are the biggest priorities for you. Once you've identified your material topics, you'd consult the reporting framework, probably go back to the reporting frameworks just to understand any additional reporting requirements and metrics you should track for each of the topics. For example, ESRS has specific guidance documents for each of the topic areas. So, if those topic areas are material for you or a priority, then you'd want to go back and make sure you really understand the reporting requirements and best practices. And then you would start to set up processes to start to gather metric data for these topic areas. Now, next, ideally, you would link your material ESG topics to your ERM program. This could include linking your topics to risks that you're already tracking, or it could mean identifying new risks based on the topics you've identified. You'd also go through a similar process with your strategic objectives. Understanding where ESG risks would impact your ability to achieve your business plan, or maybe where new opportunities and new initiatives could be used to improve your impacts and create value for your company. And finally, all of this information is used for planning and execution, and then ultimately to provide the data that you need for your ESG reporting. Now, it should be noted that certainly not every company or organization would do all of these steps right away, and they don't necessarily follow this order. In reality, it's typically an iterative process that gets improved as the organization's maturity grows. That said, if your company follows a process like this, then you're really well positioned to be compliant with standards like ESRS.